A few weeks ago, I moved to a small cottage by the ocean in a quaint coastal town in Maine. I thought the peace and quiet would help me focus on my freelance writing. But since I got here, things have felt off. One night, I found a list online called 100 Odd Ocean Facts. It was supposed to inspire me. Instead, it made my skin crawl. Some facts didn't line up with what I learned as a marine biologist. I couldn't shake that unease. As days passed, the strange facts echoed in my mind. I started chatting with a local fisherman. His eyes darted around as he spoke, warning me about ships that vanished in these waters. My heart raced, and even as I tried to laugh it off, I realized I couldn't. His stories burrowed deep into me. That evening, I walked to the beach, staring at the dark water. It was hypnotic. The waves crashed against the rocks, but sometimes I thought I saw something below the surface. I told myself it was just my imagination, but the feeling tugged at my gut, pulling me back to the shore night after night. The ocean felt alive, whispering secrets I couldn't understand. One night, the moon hung high, lighting up the waves. I stepped into the cold sand, and that S when I saw it. A large, dark shape lurked just beneath the surface. My heart stopped, frozen in fear. I wanted to scream out to others, but I couldn't. It vanished just as quickly as it appeared, leaving me staring into smooth water. I try not to think about it. Maybe it was just exhausted from staring at my computer too long. But the more I researched, the weirder things got. Instead of clarity, I felt like I was digging deeper into a mystery filled with shadows. The fisherman approached me again one night. I was staring into the ocean when I felt his presence. He looked serious and said, "You shouldn't fish here at night." I asked why, but he just stared at me, his eyes wide with something I didn't quite understand. It made me uneasy. I returned to my cottage, body tense and hands shaking. Was it just local folklore, or was something truly lurking out there? My need for answers grew, but each night, I felt that pull towards the ocean strengthen. I wondered what it wanted from me. Then came a night it changed. I stood looking into the dark depths again. I could almost hear the waves talking to me. Suddenly, I heard a voice, soft yet chilling. "Come closer." I whipped around. There was no one there. I felt a chill wrap around me, but I didn't run. Instead, I stepped closer to the water, heart pounding. Something was pushing me to find out what lay beneath. I still don't know what's down there, but I can't shake this feeling that it's waiting for me. The next day, I tried to distract myself. I went to the local market, hoping some fresh produce would clear my mind. But as I walked through the stalls, the fishermen's stories echoed in my head. I watched them sell their catch, but their wary glances towards the ocean unsettled me. I wanted to ask them more, but fear held me back. Instead, I bought some apples and bread and headed back to my cottage. The sun hung low in the sky when I reached my front porch. I dropped my groceries on the table, the weight of my thoughts heavier than the bags. I needed to write, to make sense of it all, but every time I sat down on my laptop, I was pulled into the same spiral of research. That evening, I donned a jacket and headed to the beach. It was much warmer than the nights before, but the air still felt electric. I walked to the same spot where I first saw the dark shape. This time, I felt an urgency coursing through me. I couldn't just stand there. Whatever was calling to me from the depths wouldn't wait forever. I took a deep breath and stepped into the waves, letting the water lap at my ankles. "What do you want?" I called out, half expecting silence. Instead, I felt a sudden tug, like something was pulling at me. I stumbled back, breathless. Then I noticed something glimmering beneath the surface. My heart raced again as I leaned down, and that S when I saw the chest. It was old, barnacles clinging to its sides. The chest looked partially buried in the sand. I was entranced. I had to know what was inside. Before I could think through the consequences, I began to wade deeper into the water. The pull was stronger now, an almost magnetic force urging me forward. The waves sloshed around me, and I fought against the current. I could feel the cold water rising to my knees when my toes finally brushed against the chest. The moment I touched it, a chill shot through me. I drew back, heart pounding. The stories flooded back, talk about cursed treasures, about how the ocean takes back what doesn't belong. But I couldn't give in to the fear now. I wanted to know the truth. As I crouched down to pry the chest open, I hesitated. What if it was something terrible? My breath came in shallow spurts, but curiosity won out. I pulled at the rusty clasp. It clicked open. Suddenly, everything went dark. The water surged around me, slamming into my chest. Panic seized me as the waves crashed, and I felt myself being pulled under. I clawed at the water, gasping for air. That soft voice returned, echoing in my mind, but now it was laced with urgency. "Come closer," it whispered, but this time it sounded different. It felt like a warning. Then, out of the chaos, I felt a presence. I looked around, fighting to keep my head above water. Was someone there? Before I could register what was happening, everything went silent. The voice faded. The chest was gone. I gasped, bobbing in the water. Was it my imagination? Or had the ocean just taken more than I bargained for? As I struggled to swim back to shore, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. I was entangled in something beyond understanding. What had I awakened? My heart raced as I finally staggered onto the beach, collapsing onto the sand. Gasping for breath, I pressed my palms into the coarse grains, feeling the sharpness of reality cut through the fog in my mind. I shook off the chill of the ocean, but the weight of what happened lingered. That night, sleep evaded me. As I lay in bed, I replayed every moment in my head. The urge to return to the ocean pulled at me like the tide. I grabbed my laptop, determined to research the legends surrounding buried treasure and the strange happenings along the shore. But my fingers hesitated over the keys. What if there were repercussions for disturbing whatever lay beneath? I kept the laptop open all night, but each article only deepened the mystery. Stories of lost ships haunted by wrathful spirits. Fishermen who had vanished without a trace while searching for elusive treasures. I shut the screen, overwhelmed. Was it all just folklore? Or was something more sinister lurking beneath the surface? Morning arrived, and I decided I needed clarity. I needed answers. I headed to the local docks. The fishermen were already hard at work, nets cast out into the sea. I approached one of the older men, a weathered face lined with age and wisdom. "Can I ask you something?" I ventured, anxiety knotting my stomach. He looked at me with narrowed eyes, his expression unreadable. "Depends," he grunted, hauling a net over the side of his boat. I heard stories about the ocean, about treasures and curses. Do you believe them? His laughter rumbled out, but it didn't hold the lightness I'd expected. More truth than fiction, lass. You tread carefully near the water. I pressed on, my voice barely a whisper. "What do you mean?" "There are things in the deep that should stay buried. Some call it a curse, others call it death." He paused, scanning the horizon. "Why don't you ask it yourself?" Before I could respond, he turned away, muttering something about the folly of youth. His words rattled around my head as I made my way back to the beach. Was I foolish to seek answers where few dare to tread? I turned my gaze to the waves, feeling the weight of their unseen depths. The incident replayed in my mind, the chest, the dark presence, the voice whispering for me to come closer. I needed to understand what had happened, what I had awakened. Maybe it was just a part of my imagination, but part of me felt a connection. A bond formed in that dark water. Soon, with trepidation, I made my way back to the same spot on the beach. The water sparkled under the sun, but it felt deceptive, concealing whatever it hid beneath the surface. Taking a deep breath, I stared out at the waves. "What do you want from me?" I called out, my voice shaky but firm. The answer came in an unexpected ripple. A flash of movement beneath the water caught my eye. This time, it wasn't a chest. I squinted to see better. Just below the surface, something elongated and shadowy swirled, twisting like a ghost. It lingered, but as quickly as it appeared, it vanished again. Panic gripped me. I stepped back from the water's edge. No, talk to me," I demanded, my heart pounding in my chest. Silence returned, thickening the air around me. But deep down, I felt it. Something was waiting for me to delve deeper. Just then, a small piece of sea glass washed up at my feet. Iridescent and beautiful, it was unlike anything I'd seen before. I picked it up, the sea's fingerprints still fresh on its surface. Maybe it was just a fragment, but it felt significant, like a piece of the puzzle. I turned it over in my hand. What did this mean? It was a sign, or maybe just a coincidence, but I couldn't shake the feeling that the ocean was trying to tell me something. As I pocketed the glass, I heard again that soft whisper echoing through the salty breeze. Come closer, what was I letting myself in for? I stood at the water's edge, the sea glass warm in my pocket, feeling the pull of something larger than myself. It was both terrifying and exhilarating. The whisper echoed in my mind. What did it want? I hesitated, then decided to give in to the curiosity gnawing at my insides. If you wanted to come closer, show me, I called out, my voice swallowed by the surf. The air crackled with tension, and a breeze swept past, sending a chill through my bones. Nothing happened at first, just the rhythmic crash of waves against the shore. I felt ridiculous, talking to the ocean like some lost sailor. But then, as if answering me, the water shimmered. The surface shifted, and from the depths, the shadow re-emerged, less fleeting this time. I squinted and saw a shape, a form, more defined, almost calling me. It beckoned me toward the water, as if urging me to let go of my fears and wade in. Conflicted emotions churned inside me: fear, intrigue, and an unexplainable desire to uncover whatever lay beyond the veil of the surf. I took a tentative step forward, my heart racing with each movement. The water turned from frothy white to a deep blue, reflecting the sky's hues. Then something tickled my ankle. I jumped back, expecting something horrifying to latch onto me, but it was only seaweed, swaying gently with the tide. I shook my head and laughed nervously. I couldn't let fear control me. So, I stepped forward again, this time determined to confront whatever mystery awaited me. A series of bubbles broke the surface, and the apparition became clearer. It was a figure, unmistakably humanoid but cloaked in shadows and glistening scales. My breath caught in my throat. Was it real? How could it be? I felt my heart thud loudly, and I quickly glanced around to ensure I was alone. The figure gestured, the water reflecting its outline. I wanted to run, but I felt rooted in place. "Who are you?" I called out, my voice wavering. "What do you want?" But the creature simply tilted its head, as if considering me. I felt a rush of energy flow through me, pulling me toward the water. Something deep inside whispered that if I could just plunge into the sea, the answers I sought would come to me. Electricity crackled around me, and I stepped closer again. Then everything changed. The sun suddenly dimmed as dark clouds rolled in from nowhere, casting a gloomy shadow over the beach. The whispers shifted into a cacophony, rushing into my ears like a gale. Panic surged. This was no longer just intrigue. Something deeper was at play, and it was escalating quickly. I turned to retreat, to run back to safety, but a wave surged forward, crashing over my feet and tugging at my ankles. I stumbled, but managed to keep myself upright. The figure faded momentarily, but a haunting echo remained in the air. "You cannot leave yet." With a shiver down my spine, I finally understood. I was entangled in a web of secrets. The ocean wasn't merely inviting me. It was demanding something in return for the truths it held. As I looked out over the water, my heart racing, I realized that whatever was beneath the surface had awakened, and I had no choice but to face it. I waded in deeper, breathless, wondering just how far I would go to discover the truth behind the whispers of the deep. I stepped farther into the water, the biting cold engulfing my legs. The waves kept rushing in, pulling me closer, urging me to dive deeper. My heart raced with both excitement and dread. I wasn't just wading into the ocean, I was stepping into the unknown. As I moved forward, the shadows shifted in the water again. This time, the figure revealed more of its face, and I gasped. It looked like a blend of human features and something otherworldly. The creature had eyes like deep pools, holding ancient secrets within them. It looked just as curious about me as I was of it. And for a moment, fear ebbed away, replaced by a strange connection. "Show yourself," I whispered, the words spilling out before I could stop them. I didn't want to be afraid anymore. I needed to know the truth. In response, the figure pointed towards the horizon, where the water churned and swirled. I squinted to see what it was indicating, and then I noticed a sudden bright flash beneath the waves. My heart skipped. Something glittered below the surface, reflecting the faint light struggling through the clouds. Could it be a treasure? Or something more sinister? I stepped in deeper, feeling the current shift around me, pulling me toward that glimmer. With each step, the gravity of the moment pressed down harder. "What do you want from me?" I shouted, my voice rising over the surf. The figure only continued to observe, its gaze unyielding. Suddenly, the ocean heaved violently, waves crashing around me like thunder. My legs nearly gave way beneath the force, and I stumbled backward, fighting to remain on my feet. Nothing about this was safe. The figure, undeterred, moved closer to the surface, almost as if it was daring me to follow. Then, just as quickly, the tumult ceased. The water settled, and I stood there, panting. I fought to gather my thoughts, but aside from the figure's eyes, I felt utterly lost. A voice echoed in the back of my mind, a warning and an invitation all at once. That's when I saw it. The glimmering object broke the surface, floating gently toward me. It was a large, translucent shard pulsating with a light that seemed to resonate and hum in the air. I reached for it, drawn irresistibly. As my fingers closed around it, a wave of energy coursed through me, flooding my senses with warmth and light. But with that warmth came a tether, binding me to the ocean and the figure. I gasped, pulling my hand back, realizing something deeper was happening. The whispers returned, swirling in my head with a new urgency. "You belong to the sea now," they chorused. Fear squeezed my heart. I had touched something powerful, something that could pull me under forever if I wasn't careful. I looked back at the figure, which was now closer than ever, its eyes darkening with intent. In that moment, I knew I had stumbled upon a secret far larger than I had anticipated. What I unleashed, and how would I get back to shore before it claimed me? I prepared to run, but the figure rose from the depths, blocking my escape. "You cannot abandon this connection," it echoed, and I felt the weight of its words settle over me like a storm. With nowhere to turn and uncertainty swimming before me, I took a breath, bracing for what came next. I stood frozen, my mind racing. The deep connection I felt with the figure was now wrapping around me like tentacles. I struggled to breathe, panic tightening my chest. "What do you want from me?" I shouted again, my voice cracking. Without waiting for an answer, I tried to push past it, but the creature extended a hand, palm up, and suddenly I was overwhelmed by visions. Images flashed in my mind, glimpses of ancient ships, storms furious enough to swallow them whole, and whispers of souls lost to the sea. I staggered back, the shard still glowing faintly in my grasp, its energy entwining with the chaos in my thoughts. "Let go," I yelled, but my words vanished into the roar of the waves. The figure's eyes bore into mine, and I felt a ripple of understanding flow between us. It was asking me to accept what was unfolding, to trust in something beyond my comprehension. But how could I trust it? It was a creature of the deep, shrouded in mystery and shadows. I could still feel the sharp bite of fear coursing through me like electricity. I glanced down at the shard. It pulsed steadily, almost like a heartbeat, urging me to listen. That was when I noticed another flash beneath the water. A second shard, similar yet distinctly different from the first, hovered just out of reach, its light brighter and more chaotic. Hope surged within me. If there were more, then maybe there was a chance to understand. I took a step towards it, but the figure shot forward, blocking my path again. "You must not pursue it," it instructed, its voice now a low, resonating tone. "The shards hold great power, but they also bear great danger. Then why show them to me?" I countered, feeling bold despite my shuddering uncertainty. I suddenly felt a swell of anger rising. "What are you planning?" The figure hesitated, its expression shifting. "You have awakened something that has lain dormant. The shards are more than objects. They are keys to the ocean's ancient memory." I had no idea what that meant, but I felt the ground beneath my feet pulse with energy. The sea beneath me was alive, almost as if it were a living entity watching and waiting. I could feel the pressure building, the water swirling around, as if making room for something greater. What should I do? I whispered, the fear and urgency churning inside me. The figure offered me a choice, a path unfolding in the water, beckoning me with glimmers of light. Embrace yourself. This connection is not to be feared, but understood, it urged. Just then, the two shards flickered in unison, drawing both of my eyes. But before I could fully process its words, the ocean erupted once again, and a wave crashed over me. I gasped as the water slammed into my body, dragging me under, the second shard cutting the surface in a brilliant flash. I struggled against the powerful current, and as I went deeper, I caught one last glimpse of the creature, its eyes filled with resolution. My vision blurred, the last traces of light from the shards slipping away. With desperation, I kicked and clawed for the surface. No, I screamed, but the water silenced me, pulling me into the darkness below. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the tumult ceased. I felt weightless, suspended in the cold depths. For one fleeting moment, all was still, and in that silence, something stirred within me, a consciousness awakening that was tied to the ocean itself. I had no idea where this was heading, but as I sank deeper, a sense of purpose ignited in my heart. My connection to the sea was more than I had ever imagined. Then I realized I was not alone. Something was moving beneath me, lurking in the blackness. Suddenly, panic surged. What awaited me in the depths? I struggled to make sense of my surroundings as the darkness closed in around me. The water felt thick, almost alive, wrapping around me like a shroud. I fought against the instinct to panic, reminding myself to stay calm. It was easier said than done when a sense of something unseen loomed closer. Then I saw it. A shadow darted in my periphery, shifting through the murk like a predator on the prowl. My heart raced, and I instinctively kicked my legs, desperate to rise. But the weight of the ocean pressed against me, each movement feeling heavier than the last. Think, I whispered to myself, try to focus amidst the chaos. The shard still clutched in my hand, thrummed eerily, sending waves of energy coursing through me. The connection was there, strong and undeniable. I just needed to harness it. The shadow swirled closer, and I braced myself. Instincts kicked in as I strained against the unseen force, pulling me deeper. It felt like a living entity, watching, waiting, ready to strike. My senses sharpened, and I recalled the figure-S words. The shard were keys to the ocean-S memory. Was it possible I was meant to unlock something? The thought flickered through my mind, but was quickly swallowed by another wave of dread. What if it was meant to be the weapon of my undoing? The shadow surged forward, and panic bubbled in my throat. It was massive, bigger than anything I had ever seen. Just as it lunged for me, the shard flared to life, illuminating a path toward the surface. Light burst through the darkness, casting shimmering patterns around me. I knew that I had to take a leap of faith. Please, I shouted, more to myself than to the creature, feeling the shimmering energy of the shard coursing through my veins. I reached out, focusing all my will into that connection. In response, the water shifted, and I felt a strange warmth, as if the sea was acknowledging my plea. The figure from before appeared again, shimmering at the edge of my awareness. Trust in the shards, it whispered, the words echoing like a soft lullaby. Together, they can weave the truth. Then everything shifted. The darkness peeled away, revealing a tangled mass of memories embedded in the water. Ships sailing through tranquil seas, storms swirling in fury, and faces of the lost peering through the waves. The shadow hesitated, giving me a moment to catch my breath. I needed to show it I meant no harm. I focused on the light, urging it to rise higher, brighter. The next moment felt like an eternity as time slowed, and the energy surged, connecting with the creature. And that S, when I felt that the creature, as thoughts flooded into my mind, raw and powerful. They were ancient memories, a flood of warning intertwined with sorrow. This was no simple beast. It was a guardian of the ocean-esque secrets, a protector of the shards. Yet in that moment of clarity, I realized there was something else, a threat lingering in the depths, unbidden. I glanced down as something even darker approached, drawing nearer with terrifying intent. This cannot be the end, I gasped, desperation clawing at me. I knew I had one chance to turn this around. But as I shot upward, the new darkness surrounded me, spiraling in a tight embrace, squeezing the air from my lungs. Someone or something was waiting at the surface. I could feel the pull, the lure. I just had to break free. The guardianship of the ocean was mine to claim or mine to lose. But in that charged moment, I realized I was far from prepared for what lay ahead. I had no idea who or what awaited me just above, but I had to find out what this all meant before it was too late. The pressure around me shifted suddenly, and for a brief moment, the darkness released its grip. I surged upwards, propelled by a mix of fear and the energy from the shard. My lungs burned as I kicked harder, each stroke a desperate plea for air. I could feel the presence above me, waiting. It was a prickling sensation that made the hair on my arms stand straight. Just as light broke through the surface, I felt a rush of cold water wrap around me again. Panic flared, and I twisted, my eyes darting back to the shadows below. The creature was still there, watching. But this time, it seemed hesitating. I broke the surface with a gasp, flinging water from my face. I blinked against the brightness, struggling to adjust. The salty air entered my lungs like an embrace, grounding me. I squinted into the sun, tried to regain my bearings, but the moment was fleeting. That was when I saw it. A glimmering figure stood at the water's edge. It looked almost human, but there was something off, something not quite right. As I waded closer, beads of water dripped from my hair, pooling at my feet. The figure raised a hand, beckoning me forward. "Come closer," it said, its voice an alluring whisper that danced on the breeze, yet held an undercurrent of something darker. "I've been waiting for you." A thrill of fear washed over me. Something about this being felt familiar, unsettling. My instincts screamed to turn away, to flee back to the safety of the depths. But I was drawn to the figure, part curiosity, part dread. "Who are you?" I asked, my voice shaky, doubts flooding my mind. "What do you want?" The figure smiled, and in that moment, it morphed, revealing features reminiscent of the guardian from the sea. "I'm the keeper of balance," it said. "The shards are your birthright. They connect you to the ocean." The mention of the shards triggered the memories of the creature's thoughts, raw and urgent. It was a call to action. I forced myself to stand tall, trying to mask my unease. But the darkness, what is it? The figure stepped closer, piercing blue eyes locking onto mine. A force of chaos, a remnant of what was lost. It threatens the balance. You hold the power to restore it. Had I really just been called to save the ocean? I couldn't help but feel small against the enormity of it all. But how? I whispered, dread creeping through my chest. What if I fail? The figure's demeanor softened. "You must unlock your potential with the shards. They are keys to ancient wisdom. You have only begun to understand." Before I could respond, the earth shuddered beneath our feet. The ocean churned violently, and the darkness surged closer, rising from the depths like a great maw ready to consume everything in its path. My heart skipped, and I took a step back, my pulse racing. "Everything is at stake," the figure warned, urgency sharpening its tone. "You must decide now." That's when the shadow burst forth from the water, snapping at me like a hungry beast. It lunged, and instinct kicked in again. I had to act. I had to act fast. "Trust the shards," the figure shouted as I felt the energy radiate within me, urging me to respond. Fear morphed into resolve. I had to face the darkness or lose everything. I stood frozen for a heartbeat, the shadow flaring in my vision. The figure at the water's edge yelled commands that blurred into the background of my mind. Time felt distorted, stretching and shrinking as the darkness surged toward me, its form twisting and writhing like a serpent. Something deep inside me surged along with the energy of the shard. Maybe I could use it. I focused on the glowing object in my pocket, feeling its warmth pulse like a heartbeat against my skin. I had to try. Without thinking, I raised my hand and pointed it at the shadow. In that moment, everything felt electric. The air charged around me, thick with potential. Instinct guided my movements, and I summoned the energy from Shard. A flicker of light erupted from my palm, shooting straight into the darkness. It hit the creature squarely, and for a split second, the shadow hesitated. Then came the deafening roar. The wave of sound crashed over me, almost knocking me over as the darkness recoiled. I felt the connection to Shard responding, fueling my doubt and fear with strength. The figure smiled, and I could see a glint of pride in its eyes. "Hold your ground," it called, its voice rising above the chaos. "You have the power to push it back. Channel your emotions." I clenched my jaw, feeling a swell of determination. This wasn't just about me. The ocean's safety was at stake. I took a deep breath, focusing on my anger, my fear, the urgency of the moment. The light intensified, illuminating the water around me like a luminous shield. The shadow writhed and howled, stretching outward as if trying to absorb my energy. But I wouldn't let it. I pushed back harder, forcing myself to concentrate. "You will not take this," I shouted. "I won't let you win." The energy burst forth, bright and bold, pushing the darkness back with an unyielding force. The tendrils of shadow receded, curling away from the light until they shrank beneath the surface, their presence fading into the depths. Victory surged through me, mingling with exhaustion. I dropped to my knees, panting, the salt water splashing over my skin. But before long, the sense of relief turned to something deeper and ominous awareness. The battle was only beginning. When I looked up, the figure was gone, leaving a lingering echo of its presence. Just then, a flicker of movement caught my attention near the water's edge. Something small darted between the rocks and into the waves. I crawled closer, curiosity overcoming my fatigue. That was when I saw it, a shard, darker and cracked, curling with tendrils of shadow like my enemy. Fear gripped me again. If that was here, what else lurked in the depths? I reached for it, my heart racing with dread and a strange eagerness. Just as my fingertips brushed the surface, the ocean roared again, and I realized I wasn't done fighting. The darkness wasn't just behind me, it was everywhere, waiting for its chance to return. Now I had to go deeper to learn more about the shards and the true nature of the creature I had just faced. I had to prepare for what was coming next, and I was running out of time. The morning dawned clearer and calmer than I expected. The sun spilled golden light over the ocean, the surface shimmering like 1,000 fractured mirrors. I stood on the beach, knees weak and mind racing. Last night, as confrontation felt like a dream except for the dampness of my clothes and the warmth of the smooth shard still tucked in my pocket. I turned my gaze to the water cautiously, half expecting the shadow to re-emerge, claiming its territory once more. I had fought back once, but even now, a muffled silence loomed a peace that felt unsettling. The beach was eerily quiet, save for the rhythmic melody of waves lapping at the shore. I could still feel the energy buzzing in my veins, remnants of the confrontation just a heartbeat away. Taking a deep breath, I walked towards town, needing to gather my thoughts. The locals had whispered their warnings, but I now felt the weight of a looming responsibility. As I passed the market, the fishermen eyed me warily. Their furtive glances sent a shiver down my spine. Did they sense what had transpired in the ocean? Or was it just another layer of their constant unease? I stepped into the cozy cafe nearby, where warm aromas of coffee and baked goods enveloped me like a comforting embrace. I found a seat at the back, my mind swirling with questions that danced just out of reach. What was the connection between me and the ocean? Were the shards truly keys to something larger? Or had I awakened a force that would forever change my life and theirs? My fingers traced the outline of the shard in my pocket. It pulsed faintly, an anchor in my storm of thoughts. I needed to unlock the mysteries surrounding it, to delve into the myths that entwined themselves around the sea. I couldn't ignore the darkness forever, but the more urgent question weighed heavily on my heart. What if the truth about the ocean was something I wasn't prepared to face? Once I finished my coffee, I picked up an old book on local sea legends from the cafe's bookshelf. I'd seen it before, gathering dust in the corner, a collection of stories passed down through generations. Maybe it could offer some insight. As I flipped through its pages, snippets of the past leapt out at me. Accounts of sailors hearing singing under the waves, lost treasures guarded by unseen forces, and tales of spirits seeking retribution for ancient wrongs. One story caught my eye, about a shipwreck buried beneath the waves, a vessel connected to a fabled treasure that was said to grant power to its bearer or unleash catastrophe. My heart raced. Was that what I faced? Would I become the next seeker, teetering on the edge between knowledge and ruin? Each legend held secrets intertwined with a dark creature hovering beneath the surface, waiting for another moment of weakness. As I read, the cafe around me faded until it was just me and the weight of history. The sun dipped low outside, casting shadows through the windows. I kept thinking about the broken shard I had seen, tainted with darkness, lurking in the water. What if it was a warning of what could come next? Or a harbinger of chaos threatening to reclaim its hold once again? Time slipped away, and before I knew it, the cafe was closing. I thanked the barista for the coffee, but remained lost in thought as I stepped back onto the beach. The fading light danced along the surface of the waves, mocking me in a strange, unsettling way. I felt pulled again, a magnetic force tugging at the seams of my resolve. Tonight, I whispered to myself, I'll go back. The last rays of sun dipped beneath the horizon as I grabbed my jacket and made for the water's edge. With each step, memories of the figure lingered, its presence wrapping around me like sea mist. Heart pounding, I stood once more at the shoreline, staring into the depths. The air electrified around me, as if the ocean were alive, waiting for my return. Show me, I called out, the words swallowed by the surf. I gathered courage, entangled with uncertainty. But now, with the weight of the stories fresher in my mind, I felt compelled to act. The darkness below may have recoiled, but it would not remain dormant for long. Silence stretched before me, and then came the echoing whisper, soft yet assertive. Come closer, and without hesitation, I waded in again, heart racing toward the depths and hidden truths, unsure of what would await me, but ready to find out. Would I reclaim the shards, or would my curiosity bubble over into chaos? I couldn't say, but I had to discover the ocean's secrets, the answers lingering just beyond the surface, both beautiful and terrifying, waiting for me to swim deeper into its embrace.